have to do, before a horse can move properly, he has to be able to stand properly. Because when we stand, the horse, like ourselves, interacts with gravity. We have to interact with gravity every day. That interaction with gravity is what allows us to move. If we can't effectively and efficiently interact with gravity, it makes movement very difficult. The horse, being a prey animal, not only has to be able to interact with gravity, he has to be able to interact with gravity very quickly. Because if he can't in the wild, he'll end up as breakfast. So, we look at Scooby here, and remember that the cannon bones are most effective when they're perpendicular to the ground. So if we ask Scooby to try to stand, we see that he really does not stand with perpendicular cannon bones. Scooby's not as bad as some horses we've seen. If we look at this picture of Fred, we see a horse that has very, very bad neurological input. Okay? The reason that we won't stand with perpendicular cannon bones is we have some sort of faulty neurological input. The brain seems to think that we're standing on a hill. Okay? Now, let's use my thigh bone, my shin bone, use my shin bone in place of Scooby's cannon bone. Okay? So, my thigh bone, my shin bone should be perpendicular to the ground. If my brain said, "Hey, Doc, you're standing on a hill, lean forward." So my shin bones start to lean forward. All of a sudden, I have to drop my butt to catch myself from falling on my face. If we look at Scooby, his back legs are in. And when we look back at the picture of Fred, we can see his back legs are way underneath him. We like to call Fred a prime example of a goat on a rock. Okay? Very bad neurological input. Now, when Scooby stands with perpendicular cannon bones, just like when we stand with perpendicular thigh bone, we use our flexors to stand. Okay? These muscles are some of the first ones that are formed. They also have very short muscle fibers, a lot of connective tissue in them, and the energy source is stored within the cell. So very efficient. Allows me to stand here and talk to you very comfortably. When we stand perpendicular, just like with perpendicular cannon bones, we're going to use our extensor muscles to stand. Okay? These muscles allow us, they're our stabilizing muscles. They allow us to stand very efficiently. They have short muscle fibers, a lot of connective tissue in them. The energy source is stored within the cell, within the muscle cell, and so it's very efficient for me to stand here and talk to you. It's very efficient if our horse has perpendicular cannon bones for him to stand here and graze. Okay? Now, if my neurological input is bad and I have to start standing like this, I am now using my flexors or my mobilizing muscles to stabilize. Okay? This is very inefficient. If y'all do this at home, you'll start to feel a little burn here. That's from waste products. That's lactic acid buildup. Okay? There's no connective tissue in these muscles. We start to cramp up. It's very inefficient for me to move from this position. Just like when we look at the picture of Fred, you can tell that Fred can't move. I have to move to move. Okay? If I have to move twice, the lion only has to move once, I'm breakfast. So therefore, we have to be able to stand correctly. We need to stand, we want our horse to stand with perpendicular cannon bones. Square your horse up. If your horse can't square up properly, if your horse has problems squaring up, it probably means that the input from his feet or his jaw aren't correct and are telling his brain, hey, I'm standing on a hill. Okay? So, we have to be able to stand correctly before we can move correctly. So posture is very important. Yes, there can be problems with conformation. It can lead to an altered posture. But those horses that have conformation problems have problems moving also. Now, next time in our second segment of biomechanics of equine movement, we'll start and we'll look at the movement of the head. And then in the third segment, we'll look at the middle of the body, followed by the movement of the rear end. So this has been the first segment on equine biomechanics.
Harmonizing your horse's health is made possible through the support and courtesy of Seedle M. It's for your joint and health nutrition for all horses. Unique joint formulas derived from 100% natural sources. Use after discomfort from heavy exercise, training, working in the show ring or the like. Always improving your horse's health. A great big thank you for the support of Seedle M. Harmonizing your horse's health is made possible through the support and courtesy of Ice Horse. Your horse gives its all. And you know, after work, 7 minutes of hard work, you can raise tendon temperatures to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Depend on Ice Horse cold therapy products. Ice Horse, simply the best cold therapy. Thank you for your support of harmonizing your horse's health.
Let's start up here at the nose. We know that energy is generated at the hind end of the horse and flows through to the front, but for our purposes today, we're going to start at the nose. Remember, where the nose of the horse goes, the body can follow. Where the nose can't go, the body can't follow. Okay? So we can't expect this horse to turn a tight barrel turn, okay, if her nose can't turn tight. We can't expect this horse to be able to perform dressage movements if she can't move properly. Not only that, but she has to be able to drop her head all the way down. So we need to be able to drop her head. As that head moves, the rest of the body's going to move. Okay? Now, right up here at the base of the skull, there's an attachment of what we call the nuchal ligament. The nuchal ligament runs all the way down to here. Now, the anatomists say that then the nuchal ligament ends, and we have a ligament that starts called the supraspinous ligament. The supraspinous ligament goes from the top of all these vertebral processes that we can see when we look at the bones. That's fine for the anatomist, and if that's the case, when we dissect in, we should be able to go, oh, there's the nuchal ligament, and there's the supraspinous ligament. However, they're intertwined. So when this head drops, this ligament here stretches. It stretches all the way back to just before the lumbar sacral junction. Okay? This whole ligament has to be able to stretch. If we stop or put pressure on that ligament anywhere along its entire length, we're going to affect the ability of this horse to raise and lower its head. Okay? All right. Now, when we flex at the pole, we need to be able to have good flexion at the pole. A lot of us ask our horses to flex at the pole. You've all been to the horse show and you see these horses and they have beautiful headset. And some of them, the riders, you can tell that they're fighting, and the reason you can tell is because every muscle in their arms are just bulging and the veins are bulging. But the horse has beautiful headset and his tongue's hanging out. Now, why does that happen? Well, I want you to do this with me at home there. But just relax. Drop your chin to your chest and talk. And it sounds fairly normal. Well, I am flexing at my pole when I do this. Okay? Very comfortable. Not the most everyday thing that I would do, but it's okay. Now, if I lock my pole out by taking my head up, don't flex at the pole, but drop my chin, it forces my larynx to the back of my throat. My voice sounds totally different. And really, there's no room in my mouth for my tongue right now. So if I was being shown, my tongue would hang out of my mouth. So we've all seen those horses at the horse show, and you know that those horses have not been able to flex at the pole. hole. So we have to move all the way down through. Okay? These horses should be able to reach very comfortably down to the ground and graze. Remember, the horse evolved to be a grazing animal. They graze for 22 to 23 hours a day. Okay? So they need to be able to graze.